Hello, makers, and welcome to Making Conversation, a podcast where we celebrate all things making. My name is Jen. My pronouns are she, her. I'm super stoked to bring this episode to you. I hopped in my car and drove from Seattle to Portland to chat with Rachel, not only about her own maker journey, about her journey from dyeing yarn in her own kitchen to creating the whole entire brand Ritual Dyes Yarn, to then opening a yarn shop during COVID, to then having a whole dye studio across the street. Let's just say Rachel is very busy. Then she last year decided to put together a fiber arts festival called Sacred Sheep. You might have heard of it. What can't she do? There are lots of sneak peeks in this episode. Also, I know Rachel's probably sitting here going, this isn't just my festival. It's not. It's all of our festival. But mostly, I do want to shout out Martha and Becca, two people who have so much to do with Sacred Sheep. Thank you so much for everything that you do to help Rachel put this together. I know that she can't do this without you. I am super stoked for Sacred Sheep because I will be there. I'm going to be collecting content for the team, but also I'm going to be doing some interviews of attendees at the festival, and I'm going to create a whole special podcast around that. So make sure you come say hi if you see me. And without further ado, Rachel. Oh, hey, really quick. Don't forget to tell your maker friends about this podcast. Hit subscribe. I really enjoy making these episodes, and I hope that you think it's fun too. Okay, without further ado, for reals this time, Rachel. Hello.
Hi.
It's so nice to see you.
So nice to see you.
Thanks for having me here.
Oh, thank you for making
my
the
gosh.
journey down.
I'm in Portland and I love it.
I know. It's a good time to visit right now. I feel like you chose the right time.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Pacific Northwest is Pacific Northwestern for sure.
You can wear your sweaters. I saw the leaves changing. I went on a good walk yesterday and everything was like looking very autumnal.
Yes, love it. As we do with everybody that we talk to on this podcast, what is your maker journey? Where did everything begin?
Oh, where did everything begin? Back. Just even knitting.
All the way back. All the way back, baby.
Just all the way back. I learned how to knit from my LYS at the time. I didn't knit as a kid really, or have like family that were makers so much. So I just picked it up, working with my LIS, and I would just make these like very long scarves. I made very long scarves for a while.
Wait, where is this LYS?
When I was in New York, so it's not around anymore. So I was like in my early 20s. I was always a creative person, always enjoyed making things. So knitting was just something that I was like curious about and wanted to learn about. And then I kind of put it away for a good bit. And then when I was about to have my my eldest daughter, I really wanted to make her a sweater. That was like my motivation that got me back into knitting, and that it was the end that I wanted, was having this I had this vision of this cute little baby sweater. So so that motivated me to learn more about garment construction and knitting. From there, I just started making things for myself and getting just more down the rabbit hole of knitting. Started dyeing in my kitchen, wanting to create some colorways that I wasn't really finding. It actually all started with wanting this what I would call the perfect gray. It sounds so basic, but
I love that.
I know.
I mean, there's so many
gray,
different grays.
Right? There's so many different grays. When I was looking for the gray, all I could find were these blue undertone grays, and I really wanted a kind of a warmer brown undertone gray. So I just started messing around in my kitchen. Made a mess in my kitchen for a long time, and then and it kind of snowballed. I took what I thought were my very favorite colors that I had made, that I kept coming back to because I would just dye yarn for myself and for my friends. I took that small batch to my LYS at the time, which was Starlight, and they were like, "Oh, what is this? We want this."
Ooh,
Yeah, so I had my first trunk show for the Rose City Yarn Crawl with Starlight Knitting, and my little baby project was kind of off and running.
How long ago was this?
I would say 7 years. It's been a while. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we moved from my kitchen to my basement, to this space here.
And how long have you been in this space?
We've been here for 4 years.
Nice.
Yeah, and then recently took a space across the street, which is where we now dye yarn. So we kind of waited until everything was bursting at the seams in every place before moving on to the next place.
Yeah. That seems to be a reoccurring theme with every shop owner that I've
waiting
talked
until
to.
like it's obvious that you need to move. That's kind of that's what we did.
Yeah. Like Catherine with Brooklyn General, she was out of the front of her midwifery office.
Oh yeah, I've been to Catherine's. I love her space. It's
amazing.
So beautiful.
And then the space across the street came open, and she was like, they moved in. She had just like patience, just like walking yarn across the street.
I can see that.
I love we literally waited until yarn was everywhere.
Until it was just so obvious. Near hazard level. That's when we moved.
So we talked a little bit before we started recording. And I think that the theme of any yarn shop owner is actual making doesn't happen a whole lot.
Yeah.
But if you were to have like a day off, the perfect day, what is your like a go-to? Where would you be? Who would you be with? Would you be listening to something, watching something? Would you be eating like snacks on the side? Would there be wine or bubbly water or whatever?
There are lots of different options for that. I think it's season specific.
Love it. Okay, go for winter. No.
Winter, I definitely want to be inside, cozy, by the fire, like all the sort of like quintessential things that you need. You know, it would be coffee for me, and and good friends, and a book, and a cute little project that doesn't require a ton of. Actually, I would say in the winter I get into more engaging projects. That's like when I want to make all the sweaters and all the things like that. Yeah. I also have spent a lot of time like out in Savi's Island over the summer. And that is just like sitting in the sand with all the snacks. Like the snacks is the crucial element to this sort of a day.
Okay, but now you have to go into what snacks?
What snacks?
We're all curious.
Okay, well, always bubbly water for, I will have like just, a stop at New Seasons out of the way. I'm a chips and dip person through and through. Like that, I could eat that for meals. Yeah. Yeah. Easy. Fresh fruit, stuff like that. Just lots of like nibble stuff. Yeah. Like nothing that resembles like a full meal, but just snacks. Snacks. All the snacks.
And things that don't get your fingers super dirty.
Things that don't get your fingers super dirty. Yeah. And things that you can just eat a small amount, put it away. But the whole day.
Savi's Island, for those who don't know.
Yeah, Savi's Island is in Portland, but so far removed from Portland in that it's a quiet little island. Yeah. And it's on the river. So, but it is like a beach experience with like sand and all that. So when it's really warm, it's really nice to be by the river because we do have those hot days over the summer in Portland. And yeah, sitting and knitting by the river is pretty ideal.
So the yarn came first, not the yarn shop.
We've only had the shop open since COVID. So that happened because we were already in this space. And I definitely wouldn't have gone out of my way to open a retail store in the middle of COVID. But
I remember that.
I was here already.
I remember seeing that happening.
And so before it was a store, we were just shipping out of here, dyeing out of here. But we were really missing that connection with customers and the ability for customers to see and squish yarn and choose colors in person, with no trade shows. This was the way to like allow people to come into the shop in small amounts. People were able to come in. And that worked. That was a nice outlet for this at that point.
How did you land on the name Ritual Dyes?
I'm a creature of comfort. I have my little things for sure. And to me, like when I first started dyeing, that creative outlet was like, it did feel like a total ritual. It was like quiet. I would do it like by myself. It was very solitary. It was such a good like place for me to have that creative outlet and that place to like play with color and mess up or make new weird things. Sometimes I would make stuff that I couldn't recreate. That experimenting and having that opportunity to just mess around really did feel like a gift, like a ritual.
Yeah.
So
if you could open a second store anywhere in the world with a snap of a finger, where would it be?
Oh,
and why?
Oh, that's very exciting. Well, geez, you've really put me on the spot. Let me think about that.
I was like, are you about to tell me that you're opening a second store somewhere? Because you're kind of smiling
I
at me
know
like,
the wheels
I
are
know
always turning. The
something.
wheels are always turning for doing different things. Is this like a fantasy where I could be in two places?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Okay.
this is whatever you want.
My second ritual dye shop would probably be like, I would say Portugal. I had so much fun when I visited there and it was so beautiful. This is my fantasy shop though. Like I'd have to be
Yeah.
here because this is home base.
Right.
So like if I were in both places.
Yeah. This is teleportation has been
That's
like,
already a thing.
yeah,
Okay.
we're in it.
I would say, yeah, because they have like nothing but good weather, such good food, and full of inspiration. The architecture, the color work inspo that I like downloaded in the like 2 weeks that I was there lasted me for so long.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah, just from like looking at all the different like tile work and all the different color combinations that were around the city. That gave me a lot of inspiration for a really long time. That was probably one of the most inspirational trips I ever took.
Do you still have or maybe it's like more of an inspiration from it, the gray that you were talking about earlier?
Yeah, I have like our original colors, but I think that this is pretty.
Let's see.
No, this isn't good. Hang on, let me find it.
We want to see. Oh yeah,
Let's see.
love that. So this is like close to what that gray was that you were originally
things have
looking
evolved and changed over the,
Yeah.
over the years. But yeah, kind of. That was one of the originals. I think I have like all 8 colors that I originally started with. We still make. They've just sort of shifted over time.
When it makes a shift, is it like feedback or like your gut saying, "Hey, let's do it a little different," or what
I
does
would
that
say
look
it's
like?
more gradual and it's based on what fits into the lineup best, like what we're kind of missing, and also just that like materials have changed. So like we don't have the same dyes that we started with, so we work with what we have and kind of adjust with what is like what we need at the time. So things shift.
Was there a specific moment when you felt that Ritual Dyes, the shop and or the yarn, had found its place within the fiber community?
I think there have been different moments where I felt like, we've really found our place or found where, it fits in. I think one was when I designed the knitter's backpack. I think at the time, kind of everything that was out there was, like a lot of pockets, a lot of the, and I think that the knitter's backpack appeals to someone who wants something like really pared down and streamlined. I think that some of that like simpler is better or like staples. I am such a staples person. There are people that relate to us through that for sure. And like kind of more timeless stuff that you won't get sick of.
Yeah.
Which is sort of what I gravitate towards naturally. And then I think other moments like when we released our Undine yarn, that was so special, like in terms of it just being, filling this like void of it. It's a cotton linen, such a nice like warm weather, summer yarn for all of us who knit in the summer.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to start making woolly stuff as we get closer so that I have it to wear in the fall. But, those summer months, it's nice to have a little like summer knit to wear.
Yeah. I'm always like, I'm the worst with my timing. I'm like finishing up my summer knits as we're going into fall. And
Well,
then
then
I'm
you'll
like,
be ready for
"Great,
next
see you next year." Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's where the layering comes in.
Yes. Since you launched the yarn and have moved into here, the fiber industry's changed a little bit. How have you adapted to certain shifts, and what is something that you did early on that still is central to the business today?
I would say when I first started dyeing, it was all about superwash yarn, and I think there's still an obvious place for that. But really, pretty early, we released our Elder and our Maven yarns, which is in collaboration with Imperial Yarn, who are here in Oregon, and that non-superwash base, hand dyeing the non-superwash base at that time was not something that everybody was doing, and it's really like stood the test of time in terms of it being something that people are really like interested in now. A little bit back to those like woolly wools. And, it's a different color range on Elder and Maven and on all non-superwash wools, but those tonals are beautiful. I love them. So they're fun too. And I like the mix. I like to be able to even mix projects that have like non-superwash and superwash.
You not only obviously sell your own yarn, but you sell other brands as well. How do you choose those brands and the colors and all of that?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, I didn't start selling other people's brands until we had the shop. And then it made sense to bring in other things. But I think what we've done is brought in stuff that really speaks to us personally. We have a lot of like small batch, a lot of smaller brand yarn, a lot of European labels. There's definitely a Ritual Dyes palette that is like carried through. I think we just gravitate towards what we like and what we personally want to use. So
now, when you say we, do you mean you?
it's definitely a shop effort. It's definitely more than me that like thinks about the orders that we put together and the colors to bring in. We have such a small team here that we get a lot of input. There's a lot of people that are pulling things together to make the shop what it is.
Let's be on the move right now. Okay. What is your most excited, like in this very moment, what are you gravitating towards the most of your yarn?
I have a couple like fall into winter things. I mean, Sylph right now because it's new, and new is fun. I'm wearing the Idlewild cardigan, which is designed in Sylph, and it's like, it's Suri. It can be anywhere from like worsted to DK, and that texture is really fun for right now.
It's fluffy.
And this thing, so cute.
Oh my gosh. Samples are the death of my wallet and bank account.
What is this one? The Amy hat from Olga. I love this one.
That's so good.
And I would say my second is just like Elder is my go-to. It's just a bouncy worsted rambouillet. It holds its shape so well. It kind of makes like it makes for the perfect hat, I think, because as anyone who's knitted a beanie knows, like those can like stretch out over time. And I feel like Elder has this magical way of just like coming back together again, which makes it perfect for that. It's bouncy and Elder's definitely my go-to winter fall yarn.
Nice. Okay, so what are you attracted to right now that is not your yarn brand that you are carrying?
Wow, there's a couple. I would say Durum is like one of my very, very favorites. We have Gilead was why we brought this in. This is a line from France, and it's so beautiful. And we have every base that they produce right now. I love this whole line. I think everything that they make is beautiful. I think though, like the one thing about having like what is really a very small shop is that we have to be really intentional about like what gets brought into the store. So we've kind of like narrowed our focus quite a bit. Momonoki, I love this one. This is their German merino light. You can see we've made a couple sweaters. This is a Kinson. This is an arrow sweater, but I love their colors.
Oh, that blue is...
I love the texture of this yarn. It's like just the right amount of crunch.
Yeah, that's a good squish.
It's a good one, right? Yeah, it's a good squish. Absolutely.
Was there anything like really intentional that you were looking to bring to this physical space, but also to the Portland community as a whole?
I think the very first thing I thought about was this table, and just having, the community that like we host a crafting circle every Thursday, and just a space for people to gather and work on projects together. That's been so nice, especially since we opened in COVID, being able to like see that kind of progress. In terms of like setting up the shop, everything has to go, vertically. That's kind of how we've approached it, just being that the physical like shape of this space kind of requires that. And I like to be able to really see everything.
As makers, we are all very diverse in the crafts that we love, right?
Yes.
How is that crafty diversity represented within your shop?
I think that we've tried to touch on, most all of the crafts. I mean, obviously, yarn is the biggest part. So for crocheters and for knitters, but fabric, we have only 2 lines of fabric. We have Merchant Mills and Robert Kaufman, but between those 2, I'm like perfectly happy I can make anything with those 2. We have stuff for macrame, embroidery, all the crafts. We try to bring a little bit of everything, but being that the space is small, it's only kind of the most, curated version of those things.
How haunted is this building?
This building is old and haunted for sure. It's full of other makers. It's just a bunch of little like art studio spaces, so there's a lot of other things going on here besides yarn dyeing, but there is some yarn dyeing.
So much creativity. This is where the magic happens.
We're in the Ritual Dyes studio. This is a big upgrade from what we had working in the basement. I wanted to rent a space in this building because of these windows. I cannot get
They're
enough
so
of these
good.
beautiful like old windows. So dyeing in natural light is real nice. And we do all of our production here. I have a sneak peek of Libra, which is one of our Zodiac colorways. We released a whole series of our Zodiac colorways, and then we are kind of reinventing them, going like one more time around. I'm a Libra, so I'm partial to this one. And I loved the original one too, but it's fun to see like a new interpretation of each one of the Zodiacs. Every sign has its own set of whatever, like properties, and we interpreted that into like what that would be in a colorway. There's also like certain colors that are associated with each sign. I think one of the most fun things about doing the Zodiac collection is just having people come into the shop and like naturally kind of gravitate towards their color and pick it up and be like, oh, I am an Aries. That's so funny.
Oh, I love it.
Like, it's not funny.
It's the universe.
Exactly how it's supposed to. Exactly how it was
supposed to
intended.
go. Yeah. It's not funny.
It's actually not funny.
I want to see all of the secrets.
Okay.
Are you doing business over there?
Martha's doing
Yes.
business.
A blank computer.
She hasn't been on her computer yet.
So much business happening over there.
We put together an entire new little color palette, especially for Sacred Sheep, because we are so pumped and excited about putting out some new fun things. They're not all named, but this is the special show colorway that will just be exclusive to the event or, during this time. Walk us through it, Martha.
We're
Break it
doing
down.
a little donation to Sisters United. So this is our special colorway on minis. Yep. We have Moonflower. This is a new color that we released in at Flock. This is Virgo, and it's beauty.
I love Virgo.
And then we're releasing, looks like 5 new colors at Sacred Sheep. So we have a new green, blue, purple, pink, and red names.
Names TBD.
TBD.
We have
TBD.
some of them, right? Rose
Yeah.
quartz,
Mhm.
crimson. I want this to be some sort of a plum, but we haven't like finalized the name.
Yep.
But I love this color.
Because Sacred Sheep is happening at the same time as the literary arts. We were inspired by one of the authors who is going to be speaking, Casey McQuiston. They wrote the book The Pairing, and so this colorway
Love
is
this.
based off of that cover.
That is such a beautiful color to draw cover to draw inspiration from.
I know. Great colors.
Tell us about Sacred Sheep. Our second year yarn festival highlighting the Pacific Northwest makers. We have so many. We're just lucky to live in a place that there are so many creative people doing so many cool things. So a lot of Sacred Sheep is highlighting those makers. It's yarn makers, but it's also jewelry people that we like, ceramicists that we've come to know about. So very excited to highlight all those PNW people, and also just a place for us to all gather.
Where did Sacred Sheep come from? Where did the That's weird. How was it birthed?
How was it birthed? Well, it lived in our minds for a long time. We talked about it for a long time, especially because it's so challenging for West Coast people to get all the way out to Rhinebeck, which I have been and loved going to Rhinebeck. I think what's so special about being out there is just, gosh, just all these people coming together, you know, the sea of sweaters, all the beautiful things people are making, you know, connecting with friends and seeing fiber people that you know online that you haven't ever met. Just that whole community coming together in one place is really, really special. And we wanted to bring like a little piece of that here, but also make it super Portland. So it's like all the good food that Portland has to offer, all the special makers. I love that it's in the city. It's such a like good jumping off point for people to do other Portland stuff.
Portland has a lot to do.
Portland has a lot. There is a lot to do, especially the time of year. You know, we wanted it to be like before the like hustle and bustle of like the holidays and just that little like time in between.
I feel like one of the things that we talked about so much with Sacred Sheep is the event space itself. The Red on Salmon is so incredibly gorgeous. It's pretty small. We have like 27 vendors this year. And for us, that is absolutely like a feature of this. I think one of the things that we talk a lot about at Ritual Dyes and with Sacred Sheep is curation and making everything feel like really intentional and welcoming, and like really excited for like every little detail that's there. And bringing that kind of thing to a yarn festival, I feel like for us anyway, sometimes those really big events can feel really overwhelming and you don't get to like see everything or do everything. And it felt really special for us to not only is Sacred Sheep like maker focused, every single vendor who is there is like making the thing that they're selling, but it feels really like curated and small and intentional.
Yeah. Speaking of welcoming, who are you? Welcome to this podcast episode.
My name is Becca Day, she, her. I've been working at Ritual Dyes for 3 years now and on Sacred Shape team like for 2 years running.
And we have these beautiful cocktails in front of us just for fun. No, we are at Straightaway, which is one of the sponsors of Sacred Sheep this year.
Yeah, we're so lucky to have Straightaway as a sponsor. This is their tasting room. It is, I think we said 3 blocks from the event space. So just like a great little stopover point whenever you like hit your limit and need a break, need a place to chill. I mean, I drive by this place every day. This is the first time I've been inside, but it's so freaking cute.
It's so cute. And yeah, it's like cozy. The music was spot on, but we had to turn it off so that YouTube wouldn't take this down. And yeah, I can just see like this space, especially just filled with knitting and crocheters,
sipping and knitting, and
yeah.
I mean,
speaking of, I feel like we should try one of these.
Yeah, I think we should too. They've set out like a little flight for us.
Yes, it's
of all of their signature
very
cocktails.
Cute. Well, you wanted the Negroni.
Yeah, you can take the Negroni, Becca.
Yeah, that's all you.
Thank you so much.
Is there? Hold on. Is there one that you would like specifically?
I would like to sip that old fashioned.
Which is that
way.
one? Perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
So cute.
I'm gonna go margarita. Okay.
Well,
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yum.
Oh,
my gosh,
yeah.
it's
Oh
so
my
good.
God.
I love that they set out these like snacks, these
I know.
pairings. Everything was like.
I messed up the.
That's okay. We'll have to retrace our
We're
steps
just
to see
gonna
which
have
one goes
to-
with which.
yeah. I feel
but-
like they went like that, right?
Yeah, I
Or
think.
I think it's one
Where is
over.
it?
One over.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
All right.
So cute.
So they have, and I think that this is something that you can just order.
Yeah, you
when
can
you
order
come
the
in, it's like
flight.
the flight.
So Straightaway will be at the event all weekend. They're going to be doing a special thing for the VIPs, which is providing a little cocktail for the VIPs, but also all weekend, and they'll have stuff that you can buy and all these little drinks. But I encourage everyone that can to come by the tasting room. It's super sweet in here.
Yeah. So one fun thing about the tasting room, you get this little flight that's so cute, but they also pair it with little snacks that are Oregon local things, and they like pair each drink with each snack specialty. So they really have thought of everything. It could not possibly be cuter.
I want that job. I want that job to be like, what snack local to Portland would go best with this margarita?
Yeah, I love that. I love that they did that work for us and they're just right here.
I know. I do like when I don't have to make decisions and it's just put in front of me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you don't have to choose. There's like all the snacks. The flight is the way to go.
Yes, the flight is the way to go.
I feel like we should shout out too. They'll be having the maple old fashioned there at Sacred Sheep. This is their seasonal beverage. They were just telling us before we sat down to do this that the maple syrup comes all the way from Vermont. And they have this like guy who comes and drives that all over. It just sounds so cute. And it's like the
drives it out
sweetest, cutest
from
thing
Vermont.
from Vermont. It's so fun.
Road trip.
Road trip, annual road trip. I love that. I love that. Everything feels also very intentional.
Tell us about the vendors. Are there a lot of people coming back? And what is different about this year than last year with the vendors?
Well, it's a good mix. I mean, there are a lot of returning vendors, which is so exciting to have people come back. We've like shifted like the whole layout, so there will be, no one will be where you think they are if you came last year, but that's fine because it is small and you'll see everyone. But there's also a lot of new people that we're excited to have in the space. A lot of local people. A really nice mix.
Snake River Jewelry.
Yes.
Her stuff is so gorgeous. I cannot wait to shop it in person. Magpie Fibers is coming with a full booth, so I'm really excited to see that. Yeah.
Right, because last year they were just like kind of a pop-up in our space, and this time they'll have like a full-fledged booth, so that'll be nice.
Who are you excited to see?
Yeah.
I'm excited for Jada Wu because she's here, and it's really nice to see her colors like in person, so that will be really fun. And gosh, I don't know, there's a lot. I'm blanking at the moment. There's so many. There's so many good ones.
Well, it's like asking, which is your favorite child?
I know. I love them all for different reasons.
That's the answer. Is there something that you learned from last year that informed something new that's happening this year?
We learned a bunch of things, and we've incorporated a lot of those ideas into this next year. So one thing is breaking out the VIP that we had last year, just kind of like right at the very start of the event for Saturday. This year, we're pulling it off. It'll be like its own event on Friday night, which I really like that it's kind of separate. It's gonna have like a little bit more of like a evening out, like cocktail atmosphere, which I'm super excited about. We'll have food from Javelina's, those great big juicy swag bags, which are always exciting.
Love a juicy
swag bag. Pre-shopping hours, but it's a little bit more like dedicated. Last year it was just 1 hour before the event began, and now it's going to be like a 3-hour event. So breaking that off feels right. And then it gives us more hours on Saturday. We've done like a timed entry this time, which I think will help with some like line management. We had so many people out there scanning and like doing wristbands, but it just is never like it could always be faster.
Yeah.
But really, so we just have more people, and I think with the timed entry, that will kind of manage some of that like line flow, and also just make it like a fun shopping experience, because like you really don't, I mean, maybe you do, but I would love to not be like shopping in when it's just like wall to wall people. So just having like a little more space to be able to, I want to speak for everyone, but personally, that's not my favorite way to shop.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm like, all right, we've got 10 minutes left of the festival. Here's where I go shopping.
Right. And then like you totally can. And the people that come at 10 a.m., I mean, they can stay all day. There's no exit time. It's just a start time. So it's just to kind of help like break it up like throughout the day, which I think it'll like naturally kind of create a little more space in that way.
I would say one of the things that we learned from last year is that so many more people wanted to attend than I thought, which was such a lovely problem to have. And that felt really exciting. I think the timed entry is a really good way for us to help manage that, to help get everyone in who wants to be in, adding an extra day too. I think this is also allowing us like a little extra space so folks can come day of, which we really didn't have a lot of room for last year. So we're still selling tickets. I know sometimes are sold out, but we'll have some space for day of folks to come too.
For people that really do want like a quieter experience, like Sunday will be more chill, just right off the bat it will be. So they're kind of like different experiences for different people. One thing that I noticed last year that I didn't totally anticipate was that people would really just want to hang out all day, which was like, it's
That
so
was
cool.
so
But like, they
cool.
really did, like, people, they would shop, eat, sit, knit, go off and do something, come back. Like, you know, I loved that. And then we really wanted to make sure that was still like the way that it felt for people, that they could just like, yeah, be there all day. We have meetups, classes, like so many different like places to plug in and kind of make your own weekend out of it.
Yeah. Speaking of making your own weekend, if somebody was coming in and they had like a couple of days before or after the festival, what is your ideal Portland day?
I think you have to do something in nature. Our proximity to like hikes and just getting out of the city and like seeing some of the like really beautiful natural stuff that we've got right in our backyard is pretty important and special.
Favorite hike?
Favorite hike? I would do any of those like little waterfall hikes out in the gorge. There's so many. We'll put up a list because there's a bunch. So there's like all different, like sort of however hard you want it to be styles. Yeah.
Favorite hike?
I love Forest Park. It's just so close to the city, and it's such a great resource. It's like one of the, I think it's like the largest park that's like in a city in the country. And there are just so many like long, lovely meandering walks that feel really special with the big old trees. I would start my day at Never Coffee. It's like one of my favorite coffee places here downtown. And then I would go to Powell's.
You have to think about the food. The food is very important. I would go to Bollywood. I would go to Oma's Hideaway.
Oh, and then Loretta Jean's.
Loretta Jean's
for pie.
For pie is a very important
Unreal.
part of your weekend,
So
I would
good.
hope. Yeah.
Is there ice cream for
There is.
pie? Oh, good.
Yes, there's ice cream.
Good.
And they just, I mean, it's super cute, and there's a lot of really yummy
it's
ones to choose
unreal.
from.
It's
It'll be hard to choose.
So
Do either of you have a special moment from last year with each other, with a vendor, with an attendee that makes your heart just like grow 3 sizes and you think of it?
I think for us, like, because it really is just me, Becca, and Martha working on Sacred Sheep all year long, that when we like finally hit that moment when it was like clear that everything was like gonna work out, we really, I think, did take that moment to be like, dang, we did a lot. Like I was really happy that you know, that we executed everything the way that we wanted to, and it felt really good to be like on the other side of it. Otherwise, I just love seeing all the connections that people are making. It was just fun to like watch people see each other and pull out the things that they're making or the things that they found at the marketplace.
I remember specifically one moment I was kind of like out front doing like check-in stuff, and it was in the afternoon. There was one woman who had left the event, went back, and then she told me, she was like, you know, I went back to my Airbnb, I took a nap, I unloaded my bag, and I brought it back empty. I'm ready to come back for more and to like hang out with everyone all over again. And that was like one of those moments where it really hit me like, wow, people are really here to be experiencing each other and hanging out and knitting and seeing all these like new vendors, finding and discovering new things. It was just really sweet.
Emptying the bag and being like, I've never been here before. The merch.
We love merch.
Important. Very important. What do we got?
Yeah, we've got some on right now. They're available online, but then there's other merch that we're just going to have at the event. And throughout that weekend, some secret stuff that you haven't seen yet. That's a real sneak peek.
This is a real sneak peek.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
So this is actually the exclusive tote for our VIP night.
Yes, but this is the empty version.
This is the empty version, so sorry, no swag in here right now.
Samantha Hensel, who's actually in our Ford building with us, she really got it, and she created a bunch of beautiful artwork that you know, maybe was meant for us to kind of pick and choose from, but we just liked everything. So we made lots of merch.
So besides yarn, which, you know, main reason that we're all excited about Sacred Sheep, what else is going to be available for people to do
At the event.
at the event?
We'll have tattoos again this year, which I'm so excited about. Tom Alvarado is going to be coming with another couple people. There'll be tattoos all day Saturday and Sunday. So more opportunities. I could not believe how many people wanted tattoos last year. not everyone who wanted an appointment got one. It was, and they
No,
worked
they
nonstop.
didn't.
We're hoping to make that more accessible for everybody that wants one to get one. We'll have food vendors. We have different food vendors this year. Some of the same, like Hot Lips will be there, but then some new ones. Pleasure Burger is going to be there. Voodoo Donuts is going to be there. So Portland.
So Portland.
An extra generous size tent this year, more seating for people. I know that was like, something that there could always be more of.
An amazing meetup schedule. That just feels like so fully stocked. And our meetup corral is being sponsored by the Farmer Starter Fibers. Also, a lot of classes will be happening too.
There are some classes that are still available, and there's only one, classroom at the Red, so we're also doing classes at the shop. We strategized a little bit about how to put more like into the schedule for that. Last year we were turning over the room every day. We did it differently this year, so that there could be more opportunity for classes.
We often say Sacred Sheep is such a choose your own adventure weekend. There's so many different opportunities to like get involved and do different things and, explore the city, explore the like zillion different yarn shops that are here. There are just so many incredible, exciting things that are going on through the whole weekend.
What advice might you have for vendors who want to stand out at some of these festivals that maybe even have more than 27 vendors at them?
I know, well, because I have vended for so long, been on that side. One thing that I did like really early on was just really put a lot of effort into the booth display itself. What I was trying to do was really get across like a vibe in this like little tiny 10 by 10 corner of what is like a great big event hall. So yeah, kind of just bringing your brand across in like more than one way.
Ensure the vibes are there.
Ensure the vibes are there. Yeah.
One thing that felt really special at Sacred Sheep last year was the way that folks brought their personality out through their booth. Shout out to San Juan Bulwarks and North Star Farm. They shared a booth together, and it felt so specific to them and so cozy and cute. I know folks were just like going back again and again for more, and I just love the way people really show their personality and who they are through their booth setup. It's really lovely.
I loved Wolf Folk too. I felt like they had like that was a vendor that we were really excited to have. They're so specifically Portland, and not a ton of opportunities to like meet them and like really see their stuff. And so the way that you could have all of their bases in one space, that was really nice. Also, Kristen is the person who brought the sheep, and that really, that was like over the top. Like, couldn't have made the day more special to have these cute little sheep bouncing around.
I interviewed them last year.
That's right.
Why are you excited to be here at Sacred Sheep? Oh, do you want to get into? On the podcast, we just released an episode talking about addressing ableism in the fiber arts community and the maker community in general. I know that y'all have gone to great lengths to make sure that everything is accessible as possible. Do you want to talk more about that?
One thing was just choosing the event space itself. Like the Red on Salmon just is ADA accessible. So it has kind of everything in place already to make it, a comfortable experience for everyone. One thing to note is that the ADA entrance is on Taylor Street. So it's a totally separate entrance from the main side on Salmon. So that's easier access. We have the quiet tent, which I'm so excited. This year it's sponsored by Tin Can Knits and A Verb for Keeping Warm. We're making it extra cozy. And that's just for anyone who needs that, midday sound break and just need to have like a little bit of quiet time.
If you know that you're going to need ADA parking, please email us ahead of time. hello@thesacredsheep.com. We also have earplugs available in our quiet tent and at registration as well if you want a bit more of like a lower stimulation option for the marketplace itself and just for the quiet tent.
Companion tickets.
Yeah, email us for those as well.
The only parking that we do have is for ADA placard holders. Like there's no parking at the Red otherwise. It's right in the middle of Southeast Portland, so there's a lot of ways to get there.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, let's have more of these cocktails then.
Yeah.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This was great. All right.